This is KMTV. My name is Nathan Charles on the firing squad. Welcome, like, share, and repost this broadcast on the firing squad. Whether Williams, Cyrus McGill are all affiliated with the program, the firing squad. And on our discussion point today, Warlord Thomas Yaya Nimlin and Prince Johnson of Grand Jita and Nima counties back at each other, or what we will be telling you on the firing squad. Lawmakers are resolved on war and economic crimes court in Liberia sans resolution, and we'll be hearing from all sides of this discussion point from lawmakers. Representative Yeke Kolba burns President Joseph Boyka, his wife Kate, and the Unity Party as evil as he ruled out sexual interaction with an underage teen, over an underage females. Confusion over presidential appointments was going on with President Joseph Yuma Boyka appointment. Muslims observe Eid, but what have they been praying and fasting for? We'll speak to Iman Dugley in Minnesota. He offered some suggestions to the Joseph Yuma Boyka leadership. In Nema County, a lady's hand was chopped off by her neighbor. For why? We'll be going into that discussion point in Nema County. Resulted in setting his 3 homes at blaze. Angry residents in Nema County did that. We'll be looking at other national issues in Liberia and hopefully speak to a couple of Liberians on these training issues. But this is the firing point. Wade Williams will join us briefly, Cyrus McGill, and we're looking at all of these topics. So please like, share this broadcast, and let's go straight into our first discussion point here. Let's give you highlights from what happened at the Capitol building. As you know, lawmakers resumed session, and they are discussing series of issues. One on the table is a war and economic crimes code that came from the lower house of representatives, and now the senators, they have affixed their signatures to establishing the war and economic crimes code in Liberia. And let's give you some highlights from the debate session. But first, let's hear from the Senate Pro Tem Yomblin Kanga on this passage of the War and Economic Crimes resolution by members of the Liberian Senate.
I work as a team player, so almost every day you see that there are several consultative meetings from the Senate to school expressions to tell you how we're coordinating, and that is helping to fast track the work that we have to do. So I'm grateful for the cooperation and to get some of this time to action.
Opportunity for one more line.
Yeah. Honorable President, my concern is the presence of Alan White here today while the process was on. What signal they sent out?
Well, I have never in my life had any conversation with Alan White. I have not met him. In fact, when senators were pointing out Alan White, it was my first time actually seeing him in person. So you see that the Work and Economic Crimes Code is something that is a global discussion in Liberia and in the diaspora. And even if you follow, there was an announcement yesterday about the conversations that were going to be held today around the resolution. The media carried it, so a lot of people are aware. Some people came to witness, including Alan White. There have been text messages, there have been calls. And you know, as we always do, when people come and interested in sitting in our Senate session to view and to listen to our debates and deliberations, we cannot stop. So he was here today, but he has not had any conversation with me as a pro tem of the Senate on this resolution.
Senate Pro Tem Yomblin Kaga Lawrence is speaking when senators affix a signature to that document. Um, it surprised most people, including lawmakers Snow and others, to see Alan White is one of those who have been pushing for the prosecution of Liberians who committed heinous crimes in Liberia. And you know the story of Charles Gangetita, who is currently facing a jail sentence following his conviction there. So let's listen to Honorable Edwin Snow of Bombay County, Thomas Yaya Namely of Grand Jita County, James Bandy. Some of these lawmakers spoke, venting out their frustration over the entire process of the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia.
Just for political charade, we want a camera. We're afraid that Mr. Allingway is here, so we're afraid. I'm not afraid. If I do Mr. Well, y'all see no sign. Because I believe his objective is to look for the chances of people. And I don't know if it's a U.S. government project or it's an NGO project.
Mostly NGO.
Because I'm not signing out of threat. I'm signing because I want to see the birth, the rebirth of a new Liberia. And we are honest about this. We are prepared to do it. Our speaker in this country, when Mr. Charles Taylor was arrested, brought to Rawalpindi, taken to Sierra Leone. I was in Manasali's office that day with his National Security Advisor, Berman Family. What did they say? President Obasanjo was about to land in New York for the Security Council or UN General Assembly. They refused for Obasanjo to get out of the plane until Charles Taylor was turned over. And that day they said, if Mr. Taylor is turned over, America will do this in Liberia. And this will happen in Liberia. That will happen in Liberia. So Taylor is in prison. Nothing has happened yet. About 50,000 textbooks. Our people still go to the U.S. embassy and stay under the rain and the sun to either be denied U.S. visa or given 3 months single entry visa when our friends from neighboring Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, get 10 and 5 years visa in the passport. Then somebody tell me because we can get American people one year entry in Liberia, now they can go. That's a lie. That's a lie. How can we be the product of the United States of America and we are the least treated by the Americans? And we are afraid of talk because we don't want to go on sanction. Because we're afraid of sanction. When you talk, they say we're putting on sanction. Why are we putting on sanction today? Nobody can talk about it. We had a meeting here the other day with the Rubber Growers Association. Firestone that we walked into that meeting. And when they saw some of our colleagues in that meeting, they walked out of the meeting because our colleagues on sanction, they cannot talk to our colleagues in that meeting. And they walked out of the meeting. And we don't have the boss to talk about it, but we want to be added on sanction too. Is that fair? Is that justice? But is that justice? How can Firestone walk out of a meeting because senators and they claim on sanction in the meeting so they cannot talk to the Liberian Senate? And they are registered. They're not in Liberia. Because as a matter of fact, Firestone Plantation is in Magibi County. And 2 of our senators from that county are on a sanction day. So they live in Liberia, if that's the case. Where is the justice? Brooklyn, where is the justice? Why are we acting the cowards? Why? This is Liberia, Brooklyn. This is Liberia. People were killed here. The Dutry Church Massacre, Tupo Road, or Gravestone, Cattle Camp, Maher Bridge. When I saw Senator Prince Johnson today raging, I understood his frustration. Because we have so much made this war crime point abroad to look like it's a Prince Johnson affair. Let's discuss war crime in totality. Let's discuss economic crime in totality. Put that closing, I know you're tired of me talking. Not talking about your people then. Let's discuss it in totality. Thank you, Potter. Let's discuss it in totality. People come here and exploit our resources. And when you talk, you're scared to talk. You know how I feel? That I go to my colleagues in the region and they're boasting about what Great Britain is doing in their country as a Commonwealth country. And the French people are boasting in what the French people are doing in their country. And I cannot boast about what America is doing in my country. Because America either wanted Charles Taylor or they want economic and war crime court. If this will be the new beginning of a new Liberia, where we'll see direct U.S. investment, and America will pay attention. Rawalpindi Road that we were crying on today, I drove on that road on Sunday. We used to call it death trap. See the improvement on that road now. Even the just ended election, when ECOWAS and other member states, including the U.S., and the UN, were giving us money for our election, the United States will not give us money for our election.
Adding Snow their ranting on the U.S. government deliberate refusal to support Liberia. As you know, Snow is from Bombing County, and he has been speaking on the war and economic crimes code in Liberia. He expresses dissatisfaction, outlining that the U.S. government is playing lip service to the people of Liberia and wonders why we are acting, or Liberians of previous government are acting like cows. Snow there, he was very much abreast with the U.S. government. Some of the issues he raised are genuine, and we hope our government and those in authority will look into the situation, sit with the U.S. government and see how they can support, provide more support. They are providing support to Liberia's democracy, but how they can provide more support towards these issues in Liberia. As you know, he spoke of the issue of child stealer, how Chastity was flanked out of Liberia, going down as far as the development from the European countries and other countries. But why Liberia? We are still like beggars to the U.S. government. Snowden speaking. Let's see if we can take some other clips from other lawmakers, including Thomas Yaya Nimna of Grand Jide County. Let's see if that work. We're trying to play some clip. We're still here on the War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. Several lawmakers are expressing their frustration over the war and economic crimes code for Liberia. Let's see if we can bring you more video clips here. As we prepare that, I think we're having some trouble. Let's take this break and we'll come back. We'll play more.
Who cussing, who say about playing, I knew that you're not going to make it. Because I made you president. I didn't know that.
So the Prophet Key show, how did it come about? When did it happen?
The Prophet Key show, it was when I noticed that it was all about the 2017 election that George Weah won. I was not involved into the social media advocacy politically. I'm a relation man that been pushing my relation agenda, who believe that black people are the chosen people of God.
A false conscription. Be able to stop. They took.
He said the World Crime Code resolution. I said I'll be there in 15 minutes. From mentality, I told 12 minutes. Jerry signed.
That's Zoe Marcan
for
that's
my late
speaking.
uncle and my father to rest in peace, to know that they will get justice. And all the Nigerians, our murderer during April 6, 1996, well, we know how anywhere to turn besides going to sea. And God came to our rescue. Out of the 16 tribes in Liberia, 15 attacked one tribe. But today, we are surviving and we stay alive.
That's the first place you will go to put their documents together. This arrest government has said that they want to do business first. We are still employing and doing confirmation hearings of your ministers, deputy ministers, and assistant ministers. We are currently working on your budget. You don't have a dime, not a red copper, to go anywhere and prosecute anybody. And we are saying, let's deal with the hungry people. We got 5 million people that are hungry around this nation. We got 5 million people that are sick and they want to go to hospitals and there are no medications. We got 5 million people that are traveling without roads to go to the west of the country, the north and the southeast. This is what you ran your campaign on. That you want to take care of the people first. You and I have been in government for just 3 months. And you decided to bring war plan. Are we ready? Are we ready? You were in the opposition during the time of CDC. You have said that CDC was corrupt. And the investors out there in foreign countries they say, yes, CDC is corrupt. We are not going to Liberia. We're going to hold our money until Joe Walker comes to power. So they held their money. Liberians have been going up and down without employment, waiting for you to come to power so they can be saved. And you came to power and the white man started and said, you know what, Joe Walker is in power, I'm getting ready to go. Then the first thing you said, I'm bringing Walker and go. Don't you know that investment and capital is a coward? Wherever there are problems, no investment.
Thomas Yaya Naming there of Grand Gita County, giving his opinion on the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code in Liberia. Wade Williams just joined us. You've been following Wade Williams. Senators, lawmakers, representatives, they are battering on this War and Economic Crimes Code. At long last, the Senate endorsed the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code, and they signed a resolution bringing that argument to a standstill. Right now, is resolution has been sent to the executive, and there will be a bill later, and they discuss that War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. You listen to Edwin Snow, who've been ranting at the U.S. government. They are only after persecuting people of the Charles Taylor era, and said Liberian lawmakers or duty bearers are acting like cows. They don't want to have the balls, according to Snow, to look in the U.S. government face to say this is what our country needs. Thomas Yaya Namely also raised several issues about the establishment of this World Economic Crimes Code. 3 months into the Joseph Iban Boga leadership, he's pushing for war and economic crimes code while people are hungry and lacking job. What's your view on war and economic crimes code for Liberia? And adding why a supporter of the war and economic crimes code was in the chambers of the Liberian Senate. Welcome, Weddy.
Thank you. I think we don't need the West. Is my mic okay?
Yes.
We don't need the West, telling us that we need justice. It's obvious that Liberia has a broken, you know, justice system. The impunity has gone on for so long, and it's a consensus among Liberians that they should have a war crimes court. It's a political issue. It's been discussed, for years now. And finally, it doesn't matter when it happens or under whose administration it is happening. But I think this debate has gone on for so long. And the fact that we've reached this far, that there's finally a resolution, on the table to bring this thing, to full, to for us to finally see that we're going to have justice for those people that died during the Civil War. Someone has to be held accountable. And it doesn't matter. People will always be hungry. People will always not have enough, but justice has to be served. It doesn't matter how Edwin Snow feels, or it doesn't matter how Thomas Yaya Nimnem feels, because this is what happened. After the Liberian civil conflict, most of the decision-making process for power sharing was made by these people who who bear the greatest responsibility for the civil conflict. And positions were allotted to warlords. So these people were not going to prosecute themselves because they bore the full responsibility. But as we gradually move toward a civilian transition in 2005, 1997, after the 1997 election, Charles Taylor was in power. He couldn't bring anything to prosecute himself or prosecute those who supported, the killing and of people, the damaging of the country. You see all around us in Liberia, the entire country is still, you can still see what this war has done to us mentally, physically, economically. You've seen the kind of impact the civil conflict had. So Taylor did not do that. And then Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, then we had the whole war until 2003. And then we had the whole transition that led up to the 2005, and then we had Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, take over in 2006. Now, she was willing to turn over Charles Taylor to, appease, the United States. But at the time, the debate was, why don't we have a war crimes court for Liberia? It wasn't why don't we have a war crimes court? But then they wanted a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The whole Truth and Reconciliation Commission thing was not, Liberians were not part of that decision.
Hmm.
That decision was from, the warring factions, the Accra Accord. These people were trying to shield themselves. They will have like a whole conference. You saw the whole TRC fiasco that happened during Ellen Johnson's Sirleaf administration. No one was held accountable. She was afraid of what these warlords, might do to destabilize her government or destabilize the country. And she needed she needed the support of Senator Prince Johnson at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Prince Johnson is very highly regarded in Nimba County, and Nimba County is one of it decides the entire election because they vote one way. They just vote whoever Prince Johnson supports because it's been proven time and time again, election after election, this has been proven that whoever Prince Johnson supports wins the election.
Yes.
So this man is a kingmaker. He's been a kingmaker from 2005 to 2023. He's always been a kingmaker. He got Ellen Johnson Sirleaf elected. He got George Weah elected. He got
Joseph
Joseph
Walker.
Human Boaka elected. That's a fact. Because if you look at the election data, it shows you he swings the vote. He's like the swing state. He's the only swing in Liberia politically. So they shielded themselves with this because they held this over the head of whatever administration. Now, the current Speaker of the House,
Fonati Kofa.
Fonati Kofa, made this bold move and say, we have to deal with this because people are talking about this. They've been talking about this. We've not been listening. Now we have to listen. And it was a bold move that they threw it out there, and lawmakers were able to say, because the political dynamics is shifting.
Yeah.
The actors are changing. You have new actors from 2005 till now. The House of Representatives doesn't have, the same actors. Some of these people who are now lawmakers were victims of the war. So the dynamics is changing slowly, and then now we have a resolution. So the country begins to change, even though we're not noticing. We're seeing these people, but they're aging, and then there are new, there's a there are new faces coming on board who are saying we have to do this.
But
And
it's
now
been long. 20
yeah,
years. It's been
yes,
long.
yeah, it's been long, but eventually we will get there. Eventually we will get there. And now we have, because the reason these people are signing, we might just look at it at the front end, but at the back end, we don't know the politics that's going on. Because the United States has a huge political
Interest.
interest in Liberia, you know, and whether we like it or not, whether the U.S. government disagrees or not, but whatever political decision is made in Liberia, somehow the Americans have, something to do with it.
Like Ellen
So,
Snow said, they just want to persecute all Chastity people. They're after them.
of course, we want them prosecuted because 250,000 people lost their lives. Women and children were slaughtered. Women and girls were raped. No one has been held accountable for these things.
Even the economic crimes, people just looking at the
Yeah,
war, but some of them, most of them from the Eric started, this Edwin
yes,
Slow, I can name all of them. They had a lot of shady deeds. They invested in
yes,
Liberian people resources.
yes, and no one, and they just go with impunity. So this whole impunity thing, it keeps going on and on and on. And then we say, why don't we have development? We don't have development because we don't have, leaders that have the interests of Liberia at heart. They rather fill their pocket for the moment. You know, they're not transparent, and they
Yeah.
just hold on to power. They pay people here a few dollars here and there to call on radio stations and talk on their behalf, or to like flood social media with, you know, disinformation and misinformation. But they're not doing what they were elected to do.
But they were elected to shield themselves, like you said, where they most of all the members of that House of Representatives, they are most of them are elderly people, and they are stakeholders. And
Yeah,
all of what happened from the 1979 up to present. So, like you said, they always put themselves in a position because they know, like I listened to one of them, this is where the voting takes place. If it is not on that floor, it would never pass. So once
mm-hmm.
they are there, they are in the realm of power, they are in the corridors of power. Definitely will always thwart the process leading towards establishing a World Economic Crimes Code, persecuting people. We've seen that people who have corrupt and who have stolen resources from our country, they always force their way back to the Senate. There is
Yeah,
a reason from the U.S. Senator Nathaniel McGill and others of Bill Tuawe. You and I know the Eric Stalo, according to
yeah. Corruption, King Kong.
King Kong.
I can't believe Tyler and that
Stalo is back.
he's
Eric
back.
Stalo is back in the House of Representatives, Senator. And this time, Senator, not even representative. And the leg of Roosevelt, Thomas, I got name there. Um, all the other guys, they are back in the Senate. There is a reason, like
Yeah.
you said, uh, that's why Prince Johnson is there, and he's the heir of the land.
Hmm.
The Spain the does, and that's how the country goes.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have people like Alex Tyler, you have people like Edwin Snow. The thing is, you have to know your history. Liberians have to know their political history. How did Edwin Snow become a lawmaker? How did he come into, you know, the body politics of Liberia? He was the son-in-law of Charles Taylor. He was a rebel. How did Prince Johnson come to Liberia? He came after, Charles Taylor was exiled, after the Civil War ended in 2003, and they went to Accra and they made all these, deals,
Yeah.
not considering the interests of, Liberians. And the thing we talk about people in the streets in Liberia, people doing drugs, people. There was a whole process for rehabilitation of former child soldiers and ex-fighters.
Yeah, NCDDRR process,
Yes, that
disarmament.
that entire process was corrupted because I know there were ex-fighters who were turning in guns to their commanders instead of they taking the guns to whatever location there was. But these guns were turned into the commanders, and the commanders were in turn turning in the guns and getting whatever benefits that were intended for these soldiers, and putting those giving those guns to their friends and family members. Some of them probably did not wearing, ex-fighters,
Yeah.
and these ex-fighters were left in the cold. They had no opportunities for rehabilitation. So what happened? We forgot about them. We forgot about the conflict that happened. We forgot about these people that were fighting and killing, that have been mentally,
Me-
you know,
Deranged.
yeah, and we let them just, we absorb them back into the society, and they had nowhere to go but to turn to crime and drugs. So most of these issues that we are dealing with is like a spill, is like the ripple effect of what we didn't do right with the whole rehabilitation process. And no one talks about these things, but these things have impact on the society, you know. So we must begin to take responsibility, as a people. We must begin to hold people accountable.
And holding them accountable also comes with persecution.
Yeah.
Not just a mouth. We need to put it into action. Organize our courts. If we do not have the judges, lawyers who can do this, we need to seek
They
support.
can get trained to do it.
I mean, library is a family thing.
Yeah.
The next lawyer, the next judge, they're sitting down who want to compromise because he has some family ties with XYZ. So, because justice must be served, it's
Yeah, there are
well.
people, there are families who actually know what happened, who actually saw some of these people, like Prince Johnson, for example. There are videos around. Like nothing was done in secret. This man was executioner. He executed his victims in public.
That's what Prince Johnson say. You only see his own side. You don't see the other people's side. The Eddie Johnson Shirley who supported who gave $10,000. The Joseph
Well,
Walker who from the Lo-Fi group, the Edwin Snow, the Eric Starter, the Thomas Yaya Neiman, the Roosevelt Johnson, the Roland Duo. We can name I can name it over 50
yeah,
of
I can
them.
call you back, but
They get called
I
over.
mean, on the old road, there's no one who lived on the old road during that era who won't tell you they saw, they know exactly what happened.
You
The
talk about
road
his story. You
Ayeke
get
and
talk about
others.
he was fearless.
Yes, these people were so afraid of them. Their names, the mere mention of these people's name, you know, to shivers, down the spines of people. But these are the people who are your political leaders, and you're okay with that.
I mean, it's like vetting when people go for job. It's like vetting the wrong people because only the wrong people can get power in Liberia. If you the clean man, you go there, like, hey, no fame.
Mhm.
I told people fame in Liberia is the other way around. If you can cuss, if you can blackmail, if you're the media and
Mhm.
you can blackmail, you get the fame. If you're a
Yeah.
politician, you can cuss, you can hold protests, you get the fame. If you can kill people, steal, you get the fame in the political cycle. So every cycle has what it takes to reach there. If you're in the media, you gotta blackmail. If you're in
Yeah.
the political cycle, you gotta kill, steal, economic crime, then you can get there. And religious too, your mouth gotta be shut up. If you're in a religious community, you gotta shut their mouth to the blind thing, be corruption and other thing. So I mean, our whole system. I mean, when I say it, I'm like, which aspect of Liberia, is much better? I just wonder. I mean, from even the religious community, they have been silent. They are just a clique of certain group of people who've been there from Charles Taylor era, right? They're still there. What different can they do? They are not speaking out. Our traditional people, they have been compromised. I can say that for sure. They have been compromised. They are praise singer. We understand that you must not be a bad dog, but hey, you must look the person in the face. Wade Williams, you are wrong on this part. This is how we think it can be done better. What suggestions can you offer to lead us in authority from the Charles Taylor era, the even interim regime, onto Eddie Johnson Sharif, the George Weah, and the Joseph Iman Burger? You saying all of these things happening, those who call duty bearers in the civil society groups or duty bearers, they are being compromised. It is getting worrisome for Liberia. What different can we bring? Oh,
Yeah, and I hear people say, "Oh, why do the Americans want to bring a war crimes court now? Oh, why do you guys want to bring a war crimes court now?" It's never late for justice. It's in your interest. The issue of accountability and transparency and justice is in your interest. You might not see it now, but years from now, you will appreciate why this is being done. And if the Americans have to do it for you because you cannot do it for yourselves, so be it.
Yeah, look at the story with Conti Camara in Paris, who was convicted recently for almost 20 years in jail. And he was a fearless fighter from the Unimo K in Lofa County. We saw the stories, how victim narrated some of the ordeal. When people tell you
Mhm.
the story, not everybody want to talk. When
No.
people tell you the story, I mean, chill will get in your pants. Like wow. And I wonder how do people feel when they see these guys, like people who were raped, young girls now who turned woman who was raped on the Prince Johnson base,
Mhm.
on the Yeke Koluba base, and I mean during the regime of the World War II, World War III, during that
Mhm.
Taylor era. They see people that running duo. They see these other generals, Bob Naked, who's now preaching. It is still traumatizing. Justice must be done, but it comes with pain, and we
Mhm.
cannot overemphasize that hey, yes, truth and reconciliation is was a fiasco, as you said. The war in economic crimes code. We hope that more support will be given to our legal-minded people, and they will be able to not be politically driven, but
Yeah.
rather the process must.
And I am really glad I see a lot of young people now going into law in Liberia, getting a
Yeah,
law degree. So these people are there, they've been victims of the war. They've lived through it all their lives. They're young, and I mean, there's so much opportunity available, and we have our people who are capable. you know they graduated from law school there. They can be trained in um um you
mediation,
know all
persecution.
these, yeah, war and economic crimes. They can be trained by those people who've done it before. So we have people available who can prosecute. if
And they are
you
not
if
actors. These are young people
No,
who were
these are
born
these
in the
are yeah,
2000.
exactly. These are
Yeah.
young people, who've gone on to get a law degree. They say sometimes the road is so long, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. In 2003, they thought, they had it all, but they weren't thinking that there were children, teenagers at that time who could grow up and go to school and get educated and change the dynamics. And this is what is happening
Yeah,
today.
even in the media, I see most of our colleagues now from the Avani Rogers,
Yeah,
Falau, a few other guys, Sepeni, they are
yeah,
all they have the law
yeah.
degree.
And these
And
people can be trained, and they can, they are capable of it. They're not.
listen,
They cannot be bought. Like how much can you buy these people if they're paid well enough? And they
uh,
have the right training and the right pay, and the right benefit, they can do good.
so why do they support war and economic crimes code for Liberia and war laws to be brought to justice?
I did interview Prince Johnson in 2011 when Ellen was running for re-election. I went to his house. There I sat, at the table with one of my colleagues from the Associated Press, and we interviewed him. And he looked me in the face and he said, "Oh my God, Queen of Sheba, you see, I have a wife up there she looks as light complexion as you. If this was during the war, you will not survive. I would just, that's how I got my women. If you were light skinned and I laid eyes on you, just imagine the kind of shiver,
He told you that in your face?
yes, in my face."
Oh,
He
I
said
heard
that, and
that.
my colleague she sat by me and she was like, "Oh my God." And we talked about it later, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, how did women, doing this?" Imagine him saying that. Imagine what he did, to young girls. because his wife is much, younger than he is, and imagine what he did. So that's what happened to most girls, during the Civil War. They had no choice. These warlords could just see them and go to their house, get them out of there, throw a few bags of rice at the parents, and throw a
Sometimes
few
kids, sometimes
dollars at the
nothing.
parents.
Sometimes
Yeah,
nothing.
but nothing. They just like were, because during the Civil War, there were times people went without food for weeks, and the only people who had food, who had everything available, were these people who were fighting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know few when I was in West Point during the World War One, World War Two. Few girls they just took them. So your people took them, carried them. After some time, brought them back, dropped them. Most of them pregnant. Now these
Mhm.
kids don't
Yes.
have no. You don't know who is the father because they
Yeah.
took them as young girls come in the community, chase
Yeah.
everybody,
Sex
grab you
slaves.
up.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
use you come and just dump you back. If you find your way out, you sneak, you come back here, community. Now you're pregnant. You have
Mhm.
these people who now 20, 22 years old don't
Yeah.
have
No,
the
they are
father.
outcasts.
They are cast
They are
society.
outcasts.
Let's move on to this other development here. Yeke Koluba again is in the news. He said he would chop anybody who come and attack him. As you know, Yeke Koluba has been advocating against the bad leadership of Joseph Imamboga. He had been the lone voice there since the ascendancy of Joseph Imamboga as president of Liberia. Social media went wild when Yeke Koluba picture surfaced with a female underage girl in uniform, and there were all kinds of comments that he took the girl to a hotel for sexual pleasure. And according to Yeke Koluba, that stigmatized kid, and I mean the kid, and it has traumatized her. And he was wondering what has the women group or advocacy group done. Their mouths have been shut because this little
But
kid
what is
was
his relationship to
stigmatized.
the?
He said he had no relationship with this kid. According to Yeke Kolba, he has no relationship with the kid,
Mhm.
but he did not explain what
What
was
was he doing at the
inspiring.
time with
He
with
did
the
not
girl?
explain. He said according to him, he believed that he's a public figure. He can
Uh-huh.
interact with anyone at any
That
time.
is not.
And
What are you doing with a school girl? What are you doing with a high school student in her uniform on a motorbike, transferring her into your government owned vehicle? That should be explained. So I think he should be under more scrutiny to tell us what his relationship is with this kid. Is this kid his relative? Is this kid his what? Is he the sponsor for this kid? I think what should be happening is people trying to get to this kid to tell her side of the story. What was she doing? Because many of these people in Liberia use the power, what is it called? Money, you know, because most of these girls are poor, they cannot afford their own tuition. They depend sometimes on these people who, these politicians, because they're the people with the money in Liberia anyway.
so
So these girls, yeah, what was he doing with this girl? Getting in his vehicle. He could have been kidnapping her for all we care.
yeah, but
Because,
there are two sides of the story.
yeah, so
One,
if the girl is underage, if the girl is underage, what are you, a lawmaker, doing with this girl and putting her in your vehicle? We should be asking these questions.
I mean, like it's an open thing in Liberia. People interact with people, right? There is no law banning Nathan Charles interacting with
Yeah, but the
a
thing is,
kid to student.
Nathan, he's a lawmaker. And this is a girl. People are suspicious of these men who occupy power in Liberia. They use these girls, you know, they exploit them. This is an issue of sexual exploitation, you know, trafficking. So I think the government should be even asking Yeke Koluba, what is your relationship with this kid? And then asking him, what were you doing with her? Getting into your vehicle. As you said, you are not related to her. So was she working for you at the time? Who are her parents?
Okay, let's we'll come back to that discussion and we'll play you clips from Yeke Kolba, but we have of us Lema Cuddy. She's from Women TV. She's here to give us some rundown. As you know, lawmakers resume a special session. Lema, welcome to the firing squad, and let's hear from you. Your mic is muted. Let's see if you can unmute yourself. Give us in a few minutes. Give us a rundown of some issues under discussion at the Liberian Senate, including the War and Economic Crimes Code resolution signed by the senator. You cover the Liberian Senate. What is unfolding there since the guys resumed?
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you right here on KMTV, and I highly appreciate that. So, for the issue of the Liberian Senate, since they resumed, it has been confirmation hearings. It has been the issue of War and Economic Crimes Court, like it was signed April 9, and the Economic Crimes Court was signed by 28 senators out of 29. And the one senator that did not sign this resolution was Senator James Barney of Maryland County. According to him, his reasons were he's not sure that this issue surrounding war and economic crimes court will actually bring peace, perpetual peace to Liberians, that it will serve as justice for them. According to him, he feels if those pushing the issue of war and economic crimes court wants Liberia to have peace, and they believe that there are some level of justice that should be portrayed or received. They should focus on the issue of companies like construction companies that are in the country and exploiting mineral resources, how the living condition of Liberians are. They should focus on that. And the issue of war and economic crimes should be paused for now. So because of that, he did not vote on a resolution to establish a war and economic crimes court in Liberia. So the issue again before then, Senator Prince Yerigbe Johnson, who has been on the rampant for being against the War and Economic Crimes Court establishment in Liberia. It was a shocking moment when he turned up to sign a resolution for the establishment. But before then, he said that he was not informed because before the issue came on the floor on Tuesday, Monday, the Senate Pro Tem, Senator Nyombi Kangai Lawrence, called a series of lawmakers in her office, and when they signed the resolution, there were 23 senators that signed the resolution in her office, but then on Monday, that was April 8th. So, and their signatures on the resolution came on the floor on Tuesday, April 9, and it was read. After that, Senator Johnson came out and said his country was not represented, that he never received any communication from the Pro Tem about the resolution, and whether he was willing to reject the resolution to establish a war and economic crimes court, or he was willing to accept the resolution. But then the Pro Tem said that she made all efforts to get to Senator Johnson, but she could not get to him. In fact, she sent people in her office. She posted the information in her chat rooms. She placed calls to him, and there was no response to her messages. So because of that, he did not turn up, and she did not further to reject or make further efforts to him. So because of that, these other people that were available, they signed the resolution. And another thing in the area, like for the superintendent's confirmation, like recently the president nominated superintendents from the 15 counties. They all appeared before Senate plenary for their confirmation hearings, and they gave their pledge. And in this pledge, majority of them talk about the issue of reconciliation, which is peace amongst the citizens. They talk about peace amongst politicians. They talk about the usage of the country development funds. According to them, they have experienced corruption over the years with past leadership. how this money that come into the account have been mismanaged, and because of that, they are here to make the and they want to make sure that people account for corruption within their area. Another thing they talk about roads in the area that they are having issues with road connectivity. So they're going to work on that in their new leadership. They also talk about the issue of they talk about the issue of other developments for young people, the youth empowerment, youth education in the counties. They spoke about that. So, and another issue on the floor right now is the issue of tenure positions. You may be aware, at the start of the government in January, issues came out about the president violating tenure positions in the country. And the issue of EPA, it went as far as NASCOP, it went as far as the NAFA, the National Fishery so because of that, the issue has been on the floor whenever the opposition lawmakers try to come out with the issue to talk about it, especially the video that came from NASCOP, where the chairperson of the United Party, Reverend Luther Tabe, the Commerce Minister, and Senator Prince Moy, they were in a video footage where they had gone to NASCOP. They have elected going to NASCOP to turn over Moise Cannon, a brother of Senator Boto Cannon. So that issue, from that issue, it has been on the floor. But anytime they want to speak about it, the pro tem or whoever is presiding over session at the moment can normally just play a low. So the senators been raising issues. Whenever we bring that issue, or you people be like, we are out of time. Let's talk about that another time. This, that. And so, but in the interesting part is, you not believe that, Nathan Charles, you not believe that the lady that was serving as deputy director by then, that released the footage, Madam Cameline Yeke. She was dismissed by the President of the Republic of Liberia on account that she disobeyed the order of the executive, and right after she was dismissed, the same guy that they carried back then to take charge as officer in charge of NASCOP, he replaced her in the position. So the president appointed him right after he dismissed the list. So now the issue came on the floor on Tuesday where the Senate brought on floor that he should be confirmed in the position lawmakers say they can't take that. There is no way that they can confirm this guy. Because there was first issue that it was not by the order of the executive that he went there. He was just accompanied by certain members of the party, and they wanted they were doing things illegally according to them. So now, if the president can dismiss the delay for putting out the footage, and he can now replace the data with this particular guy, the Senate cannot confirm him. So this is the issue right now, and there are two blocks.
Senators are divided over the confirmation of him.
Yes.
Let's look at this verbal clashes between Senator Prince Johnson and Thomas Yaya Nimle, where Thomas Yaya Nimle accused Nimbanians of having their wives in jobs, but they are now reciprocating to Nimbanians. What's going on between the two lawmakers?
So what really I see there is something with Senator Yaya Nimle seems to put out his grievances. Yes, things he's experiencing, in fact, where he sees that the people of KMTV are not happy with Nimbanians. But on the other side, Senator Johnson seems to be so peaceful, and he feels like it's time for reconciliation, and it's time that Liberia can build on a better path than going back to the past. So when Senator Nimle raised that issue in session, Senator Prince Johnson response to that issue was just that he has not been informed from the previous stage. If anybody in his county or any Nigerian stopping coincidence for coming to Nima, the senior should have informed him, and they can take decisions on that where they can have the issues resolved instead of just coming in the public and raise issues that he, the senator of the county, is not aware of.
Okay, Lima Cody. Wade Williams, you have any question for Lima Cody as we wrap down this interview? Uh,
Um, what James James Barney? What was his reasoning for
So,
not signing? What was his reason? And has the media established its role in the civil conflict? Do we know?
So you decided
so I see he's trying
And
to
to
play God.
respect and uphold our Constitution. That means any court, Supreme Court of any, that we've all gathered with to push for the court, it's that same enthusiasm that we must use to defend what God has given us as resources against those who are exploited.
What is this man saying? I'm
go
not
ahead,
getting
Lima.
So,
what he's saying.
he's saying one thing he stressed was that he said establishing another court will be violation to the constitution because according to the constitution there should be no other court that oversees the obligation of the Supreme Court of Liberia. And now the resolution that is being sent around for the establishment of War Economic Crimes Court, when that court is established, meaning that court will be overseeing the function of the war and economics, not the war, but the Supreme Court of Liberia. So that's one thing he talked about. He said it is a
Is
constitutional violation if the court is established. So for one reason, he did not vote. And he also talked about the issue of concession companies taking out resources from Liberia where the citizens are not benefiting, that they are looting the resources of Liberia. And these things, they have not been charged for economic crimes. They have not been prosecuted for economic crimes. Because of that, he doesn't think at this right time Liberia should be spending money on economic crimes courts, but rather Liberia should be spending money on advancing the lives of Liberians and making sure that Liberia become a better country.
Thank you. I think this is the same James Barney who was head of the National Patriotic Party, chairman of the National Patriotic Party. The National Patriotic Party was, you know, a grandchild of the National Patriotic Front of Liberia, of Charles Taylor.
I didn't know history too. Yeah.
So he's telling us that we are not supposed to have a special court to prosecute war criminals. That is not within his purview. That is for the Supreme Court to decide. He's not sitting on the Supreme Court bench. So that whatever he's, I think the media should push him more and say, probably begin digging, because here this is what the media does. When a lawmaker like this makes such votes in this way, then we go back into their history and say, why is he voting like this? What has he done in the past? Was he a member of the warring faction? Was he one of those, you know, who armed, child soldiers? Because he's from Maryland County, there was a lot of atrocities, that happened, you know, in Maryland during the Civil War with LPC of George Boley. All these people, they're sitting there and he's saying that, oh, you don't deserve a war crimes code because concessions were not. That is not reason enough, for us to say, okay, James Barney, you've done yourself good. I think he should be ashamed of himself, as a lawmaker, not voting for this, for the people of Maryland who suffered so much, during the Civil War, because a lot of people were killed for no reason by the LPC.
Did he even solicit the views of the people?
Exactly. Exactly.
And now your personal ego. This is what I believe. This is what I think. I know a lot of people from Maryland County will love that. Even did you vote, you did not vote, it still have the
It
impact.
still passed. So you should have just,
Okay, let's move over to this Yeke Koluba. Lima, you be in Liberia. Yeke Koluba has been on the rampage of this teenage student was talking about before you came on. What is the latest you've been hearing? What is going on currently in Liberia relating to Yeke Koluba's story?
Representative
Have you
Yaka
gone to
Koluba.
Yeke Koluba car before?
No,
That Range River.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no, no, no. I don't think I will do right car because I don't see that close connection. So
okay.
you know that connection. So, but basically the issue of Yaka Koluba case has been something where it has gone on a rampage, and the China people are also concerned about that because they are not really looking at the issue of Yega taking a girl in a car, but where the public has speculated, they have bullied the girl. They see that it's something that are responsible for trauma, something that could stigmatize for the rest of her life. So, like the last time, it was on Tuesday when Representative Mama Bruce Mensah, she called a press conference and she spoke about
I'm
that.
disappointed.
That yes, and she
Let's listen to Mema Bridge. How she's disappointed. Few seconds.
I'm disappointed in Honorable Koluba for going that low. Honorable Madam Katumu Bwakai have been a peaceful woman over the years. Even for the 2 times her husband are contested. Now,
Okay, go ahead. That was Mema Bridge. Disappointed over Yeke Koluba bringing in the first family
so
in.
I thought okay. So she spoke about two issues that day. The first thing was an ultimatum to the guy who released the footage because according to her, the guy appeared on Spoon Talk and he bragged about releasing the footage. He posted them and he bragged about the whole incident. Because of that, she said that she's calling on him to apologize to the girl because the damage he has caused to her. And in her preview, somebody can enter a lawmaker car or anybody else car, and that person cannot be in an extra affair with the particular owner of the car. So you just taking a photo, posting it, and people speculating that she's a girlfriend to an Koluba is something damaging. Because of that, he should apologize to her and it should be done publicly. So she said if he cannot apologize to her, then she, as the co-chair on channel, as the House of Representatives, going to take further actions with him. And she also talked about the way Honorable Koluba handles issues. She feels that they are not very good enough because the way he approached women, the
Men are
way
so
the
yummy.
language,
The men are so yummy. I hear for you to approach the issue. Is now honorable.
yeah, the languages he used, she said, it's not. They are not very good at this stage to be using it on people, especially women. And these things cause a lot of emotional damages to them. And because of that, she also called on him to calm down, to calm his nerve,
I,
and if he has to,
yeah, I think her priority here is misplaced because she should be asking Yaka Koluba, why is that young girl entering your vehicle off of a
Is that a
motorbike if
crime?
you're not
It's not a
related to
crime.
her?
It doesn't matter where it is. That a
Well,
crime.
this guy who released the photo did a good he did a great job by
Really?
releasing the photo. Yes, because he exposed Yaka Koluba taking this girl into his car. Okay, Yaka could have said, "This is my daughter." Then we would say, "Okay, this boy is wrong for releasing this photo." But he says, "I have no relations with this young girl." So what is she doing in your vehicle? This is what this lawmaker should be concerned about. Not concerned about why this guy released this photo exposing Yeke Koluba. I
Now,
know we see it as normal in Liberia, but it is not normal. It is not normal. Here in America, if a lawmaker is caught, if TMZ takes a picture of a lawmaker like that, like what Yeke was doing, and that girl is not his kid, they will find out who that girl is. And if that girl is under 16 and he's having inappropriate relationship with that girl, he will lose his position and he will go to jail for that. He will be prosecuted for that.
Yeah, but at least cover or blur the girl face because bringing her to public ridicule,
It is
it's
not about
traumatizing.
the girl.
It
It
is
is not
now. The
about the girl.
situation
It
is
is
because
about Yeke.
no.
Because Yeke is trying to flip the script and make it about this girl, but
So
it is
why is it
actually
not about the
about
girl?
him.
Why is it
So,
not
so
the girl when
the,
she's stigmatized?
It's about him. For me, I don't know the identity of that girl. What I
Her name
know
is
is
out on social
Yeke.
media, at school. She
Yeah,
can go to school and everything.
what
He
I
has
know
made
is
music with
Yeke
her and all.
Koluba. Is Yeke Koluba. What is his relationship? If it's gone that far, it means Yeke is having an inappropriate relationship with this girl. And this is what we should be talking
Just
about,
by
not
seeing a
talking
lawmaker,
about the girl.
just by, we saw Yeke eating with people in their homes. We saw Yeke
Okay,
fucking people
you
on the street. We
eating
saw the
eating
Yeke.
eating is different. He could be abducting that girl to do what? Nobody know. Human trafficking. So we need to say, Yeke, what was this girl doing with you at this time of the day after school? And you, as a lawmaker, the girl gets off a motorbike and gets into your vehicle. As a parent, I would be concerned. What is my child doing with this strange man? This man could kill her for all I care. He has a record of a killer.
How many
So it is concerning.
how many times have you seen a government cars, lawmakers stop for students on the road who go into school and pick up them and drop them to school?
He did
You
not
have never
just stop
seen
for.
you when we don't have pick up a
He,
male student from Broadville, drop them to get around school before.
hell
You used to
no.
drop people in that
Hell
small
no.
Toyota
Hell
Corolla.
no, I haven't. Like, what is he doing with this girl? That is the question I want to ask Yeke.
Probably helping her. She according to him because from what I
He
heard from him
already told
was
you.
asking that, but he did not. Well, he did not say exactly what was transpiring. But
So
for
he
me,
made
I think it was wrong to publish that girl picture. Even if you won't publish a story, blur her face. I know the guy is not a journalist, but you stick
Right.
with if a journalist did that, you're not publish that
it's
girl
on.
face,
I
you
mean,
blur her
it's on
face.
social media. That would not even be as a person. That would not even be my angle. I don't care about Yeka Koluba what he
but
does
this is
outside
this
of
is
the
why
legislature, but it's
the
out there.
lawmaker looks at her issue
Yeah.
is the girl identity. The girl identity because she's being bullied, she's being stigmatized, and people are looking at her, different like her community, her friends, the school she
Mm-hmm.
goes to. So these things, like when she right now, the issue has gone wild, and people even know her account on Facebook. So they screenshot it and they share it around with all kinds of captions. Do you know this girl? Yeah, and they just put all kinds of
Music,
like,
honorable,
Okay.
Mr.
yeah,
Honorable.
the
Yeah.
honorable. So
So let's flip the script on this and say, Yeke, we're this issue. You're the reason this is happening to this girl, but we want to know your role in this. What is the relationship between you and this young girl? What is her age? If she's under 18, what are you doing with a girl under 18? What are the laws in Liberia? He could be getting himself in a lot of trouble if the right questions are
It was
asked.
public. It was not a private conversation. It was public. Motorcycle guy is right there. You see it. It's public.
Okay, it's public, but he was caught unaware.
Inappropriate touching? No, he did not inappropriate touch this girl. It was
Nobody knows.
bad.
This girl will not even understand what inappropriate touching is. Now, if you get a therapist to this girl and they sit with her, she will realize that what this guy was doing was inappropriate.
So if you ask me for favor, Honorable, can you please pay my way? Honorable, can my school fee is there, and we
Okay,
having a
honorable.
conversation.
Okay, Yaka Koluba can send his driver to get money and pay her school fee at the school. But him taking that girl into his vehicle,
Giving her a ride, escort treatment.
okay.
So
But
it's not a
at a
crime.
location, at a hotel.
No, they did not say they went to a hotel because he
Oh,
said, according to him, they checked the CCTV camera and they did
okay,
not
did you
see.
see where that car was
They
parked?
did not
Did you
see
see where the car was parked?
anything. Let's listen to Yaka Koluba. He spoke on other issues, and he said these
He
words.
got himself in a lot of trouble, but the thing is, it's Liberia, so this is a big mess that he got himself in. When I saw that, I was like, what is this guy thinking?
Sister Baka, I never follow you. Your NSA boy, I'm like, where to do? Your brother don't come to the speaker again. When you see me, you might arrest me. I go by my colors. When I'm walking in the street, I'll be on my colors. You got issue, you go to the court. I'll respect the court and go there. But when you make a thing say, why arrest me? I will jump somebody. I will not be there. That's the point where I reach you. Me, I carry my case. Who brought case to you? Joseph Baka brought case. Joseph Baka want bring case. He will not fight war. Joseph Baka want bring case. He will not post that baby picture. Oh, any girl, women do like a on top of baby women. Why are you on top? I've been waiting for you all on social media waiting. So I can hijack you. As long as this issue, you know, the party people took the thing. Oh, they're running away. Someone else saying it to Japan. Someone else saying it to China. Oh, you know what I say? My own page to I say. What happened to my own page? I say. Police. Everybody don't waste your time. I will not respect any security apparatus until they respect me. I took my case. I went there. You said real formal company I wrote. Have people heard my case? And I say my case that they balik Joseph Baka that they balik case. And I say I go yo. And I say man see me in the street. You not go to the court for the court to say for me. You see me, you say you want to arrest me. I will defend myself. And when I defend myself, I will defend myself with my colors. I know that you people
Is this why Mema Breaks is against?
But what Joseph Baka got to do with him taking a young girl and putting the girl in his car?
There
What
were
does
several,
Joe Baka
there were
have to
several
do with it?
issues. I think the NSA, because he posted a picture with Katuman Boga, First Lady, and him, and said, "This is room, hotel room XYZ." And
Yeah, because he's being disrespectful. He's
Yes.
a very disrespectful person. He's being.
So he also made other allegations that the son of Boakai, Sansan Boakai, not the biological son. In fact, they should ask the first lady for the real father of Sansan Boakai, first lady. So I think from this perspective, he was talking about why the people should.
I think it's from Lima. There's some noise coming in. Whether you are stalking, I think it's from Lima.
Yeah, and the thing is, let me tell you, I have kids. I have 2 girls.
Beautiful. I saw
I'm
them.
a mother of girls, okay?
The club bangs the same.
If that was my child, Yaka Koluba had in that vehicle, he will regret. He will regret whatever his life is. I feel bad for this kid that she has to be caught up in this situation. But we have to ask Yeke Koluba what he was doing with his, with especially with the level of exploitation that goes on with public officials.
So he
Young
asked,
girls in Liberia.
he asked
You need to ask him.
He asked Yeke, I guess the girl asked me for school fee or transportation.
Okay.
What happens?
And then you know the whole level in Liberia. You know how it is. These people with their money, they exploit these girls. These girls are poor. They come from poor families. They have to survive. So they think, they can do it and get away with it. So this is where our law enforcement should come in. I know he's out there threatening. He will chop people with cutlass. But the thing is, there's a consequence if you do that. If you hurt someone, there's a consequence for that. So I know he can just go talking and When did this whole thing with him and Joseph Boakai it's just 3 months into the Boakai administration, and then he's completely done a 360 after he supported, the Boakai administration, the campaign of Joseph Boakai. And now he's done a whole 360. He's attacking Joe Barker. He's attacking the family. He's attacking the wife, of the president. We know this guy. We've said it before. When it was being done during the CDC administration, everyone was saying, oh, yeke, 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 yeke. But now look at what is happening. In less than 3 months, even it was less than a week after Joe Barker won the election.
Oh, okay.
So he's a loose cannon. Yaga Koluba is a loose cannon. I don't know how he got into that legislature, but every day he continues to disgrace, that place. He doesn't belong in that building.
The people voted him, so who
He
are you to
doesn't
say
belong there.
he doesn't belong there?
Yeah, he doesn't. The thing is, it's sad how people elect, people in Liberia. It's just sad.
Lima, let's go over to our national budget. What is it like? The arrest budget.
Okay, so the national budget, the total of the national draft budget now is in the amount of 692 million, and for the arrest aspect of it, like the arrest is agriculture, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. So for agriculture in the budget this year, we see 5 million.
We're hearing from feedback from Lima. Let's see if she can reconnect. There's a terrible internet. She said, well, 92 million, 6.92 million budget, agriculture, health, and other issues. But let's go. As Lima is reconnecting, what's happening to Joseph Imam Boka? Every minute he appoints, he reappoints, he record, people go for confirmation hearing. What have you been hearing? And let's play you before that. Center has been speaking about this ombudsman who was appointed council of Fene Kanga by Joseph Imompoka. Center boss Mami has been having a press conference and looking at the ombudsman.
Considering the failure of past administrations to ensure the office of ombudsman is functional, despite flagrant abuses of the code of conduct, Center believes that the step by President Boakai, if followed to proper fruition, will represent a capstone in the country's anti-corruption endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we have read with keen interest reports in some local dailies alleging that the chairperson of the Ombudsman, Councillor Fine Kanga, holds loyalty to the Unity Party alliance, which brought President Boakai to the presidency. While we cannot independently verify the veracity of the allegations, we would like to register that allegations of such levied against an individual designated to occupy a role as critical as ombudsperson is concerning. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we encourage President Boakai to consider competitive recruitment processes in the future employment of individuals to critical roles, including institutions clothed with the authority to promote integrity and the fight against corruption. Transparent recruitment minimizes the likelihood that persons with questionable independence, competence, and credibility surface in public offices. Has such mechanism been employed, the current situation regarding the president's nominee to the ombudsman will have been avoided. We must note that open and competitive vetting processes with participation of civil society, government, and other relevant stakeholders has now become the standard for recruitment to integrity institutions.
Okay, Center boss them. I mean, speaking on the establishment, the appointment of the ombudsman. Liman, you were speaking. Please unmute your microphone. You're speaking prior to you leaving about this budget. What is in it for the arrest budget? Go ahead.
So for the arrest purchase, like you may be aware, the arrest is about agriculture, school, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. So in a purchase for agriculture this year, we see 5,624,922 dollars, and last year it was 5,252,067 dollars. And for road, which is infrastructure, it has 44 million this year, and last year it was 71 million in the 2023 budget. And the rule of law this year is 96,162,679, and last year it was 97,000. And for education, education this year is 105,500 $105,957,400 for education this year. And last year it was $90,805,000, $805,806. And for health, which sanitation force owner this year is 75 million 501,200 dollars. Why last year six it was 68,000 50 that's 68,058,028 dollars for last year. So for makeup, which tourism force owner makeup, so makeup budget last year was 3 million, but it was reduced to 2 million this year.
Hmm.
And there were other, okay.
There were
How much was Lema? How much was the budget for education again?
Education is 105,957,481 dollars.
And was it reduced or increased?
It increased because last year it was 90 million eight
Okay.
hundred and five thousand $806.
and what's
And
the rule of law? I think it was 96 million.
Now the 6,162,679 dollars.
And last year was what?
Now the 7,000,000
So it's like a few
40,000.
$500,000 drop in rule of law. If it was 96 this year, last year was 97. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a drop in that as well. And agriculture just increased a little over $1 million, close to $1 million in agriculture and
how
tourism.
much was the agriculture budget?
Last year, this year is
5 million for
5,624,000.
agriculture?
Yep.
That is really, really small.
So it is the same as, so the difference I see here, last year it was 5,624,922 dollars, and last year it was five
This
million 252,067 dollars.
Oh, okay,
What
Lima.
about healthcare? Healthcare.
So health is 75 million this year, 75,501,200 dollars.
Yeah, last year was 68 million. Last year was
Yes,
68
last
million.
year it was 68 million.
And
Okay,
this year is what?
75.
75 mil. Okay, but education, agriculture, healthcare, these are the three essential blocks that directly trickle down to the population because we need food, we need healthcare, and we need education.
Yeah, and one thing, the agriculture, because Joseph Imon that was the major thing he stressed on agriculture. And just over a little over 500, close to $1 million come into agriculture, which is the first on his priority.
Agriculture is so underfunded.
And we can feed our own self, but
How can we be self-sufficient if we are investing only 5 million in agriculture?
it's not. It was 0.0000%
Oh
of
my.
our budget.
So for what I see here is IRS budget, education is the largest.
Mm.
There was more invested in education than agriculture, health, rule of law, like road there was decrease in road last year was 71 million and this year it is 44 million.
Okay, for the rule of law is 90 million, right?
96 million.
96 million for the rule of law,
Yes.
almost pairing with education and overwhelmingly
agriculture.
over agriculture. So why do we have for the rule of law? I know we know we need rule of law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have $90 million investment from the government in the rule of law? Because we have these are questions we need to be asking them because we also can have partnerships, with our international, partners like the United States in supporting and helping us, invest in this sector.
But guess what? The rule of law got the security, the NSA, the this. That's where the money.
Yeah, but this is money that's
That's
going
where you had
that's
the
going in the
money.
pocket of
And the
people that
advantages of budget,
actually.
like
That's
the
where you
issue
had the
of
money. When
decreasing
you don't
in
have a budget,
in the army budget, where the armed forces day was not celebrated because the army wives, people believe to be army wives, protested, and because of that, one of their major issue was that they wanted increase in the budget for them. When it comes to salary, they wanted education for their kids, and they wanted a better living condition at the barracks. So addressing some of these issues, I think is the reason why the budget this year for security is very high because
So
they have to.
so do we know the line items? You know, did they break this down and say what areas they're supporting? That led us up to this amount.
yeah,
Yes,
I
there
mean,
are breakdown normally in the budget.
the budget.
Okay.
All right, Lima, thanks so much.
Thank you, Lima. You've been a great. You've been insightful. You've been a great help on the show. I hope you can come back.
and
No problem. I'm waiting
don't get no
anytime you're
horrible card.
available.
Let's use the
Don't get
reporters.
any other lawmakers cards. We.
No, no, no.
Why are you laughing like that? All right, Lima Cody there joining us from Liberia. Thanks so much. And let's go. Well, let's wrap up here with the Williams. Looking at other issues here in
Where
Liberia.
are the people that are supposed to come on this show?
Well, they have not turned up.
Not
The
yet.
internet situation is terrible in
In
Liberia,
Liberia, yeah.
and we're still trying to get them, but no way. I see they have not turned up so far. But Liberia, man, let's wrap up. It's been a wonderful day. Our Muslim brothers and sisters in it. Ed,
Yeah, great. Ramadan. The
Ramadan,
end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr was yesterday.
fasting and praying for our nation, looking at Joseph Imam Boycott appointing a few people and later
And he
recalling them
doesn't remember who he appoints.
and later recall them.
I
And
don't think he's doing all those appointments.
so
I
that
don't think so.
so what's going on? Because this is getting embarrassing for the presidency. 1 minute you appoint the same person, you change them, you appoint them to another area,
Yeah,
you
so
come back.
so this is what I think is going on. These appointments get slipped through the cracks, by people around the president. And then when the president finds out, he's like, well, I didn't make these appointments. What are these appointments, why are these people's names showing up? And then he recalls them because he can recall whoever he wants to recall. But the thing is, there has to be some checks and balances. This is why I say this is where, the office of the
Your
press.
microphone is grounding again.
Again, okay. Is it okay now?
No, it is grounding again. Technology is not in our favor.
Technology is not working for us today. Is it okay now?
Terrible.
Terrible, terrible. Let's see.
Okay, this is the firing squad. My name is Nathan Charles, Wade Williams, been here, Cyrus Bangiu, and we talked to Lima Cuddy. Where it means, you mean your microphone, is it okay now?
Is it working now? No, no. Still.
It's terrible.
I have to unplug it then.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how we like to wind down the firing squad. Thanks so much, Wade Williams. Let's hear your party comments as we wind down.
Can you hear my microphone or is still bad? Okay. I have to remove this microphone.
Technology is not in our favor. We hope to hear Wade Williams. Microphone is muted, and this is the firing squad. We're looking at a lot of issues, war and economic crime surface passed by members of the Liberian legislature. Now it's heading to the executive mansion, and they will have to craft a bill, debate it, and pass that into law to establish a code. Yeke Kolba says, I will chap anyone who comes to arrest me. He has been vocal against President Joseph Yuma Boka. And what's going on with the appointment and reappointment of Joseph Yuma Boka? One minute he appoints, the next minute he recalls another name. There was a situation there with Mistress Alexandra Amo, who was previously appointed as Deputy Director General for Administration at the Liberia Broadcasting System. She was removed and reassigned as Deputy Director General for Public Affairs, while Mr. D. Flo Flomo, then appointed as Deputy Director General for Media Services, was also removed and reassigned as Deputy Director General for News, Media, and Rebranding. What's going on with President Joseph Yumumboga? Whether your mic is muted, you have to unmute yourself. And there are a lot of other appointments made from Health Ministry to.
You hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, Wade. What's going on with our president?
These people were still appointed at Mika at LBS, right?
Yes.
So the president found out he probably made a change because he probably thinks that the resume fits properly within that scope.
So when did you find out when these people were vetted?
I mean, he can always change his mind. That's why he's the chief appointer, of the government. The thing we should have a problem with is if the president appoints and then withdraws the name and doesn't reappoint the person, but he reappoints the person to the same entity within something that better fits their qualification. But I also think that with names, that surface with these presidential appointments, I think that's where the office of the presidential press secretary comes in, where you sit down with the president before these lists, before the list goes out to the public or to the media, and you say, look, you go line by line and say, are we okay with this? Because the executive mansion does, besides the office of the presidential press secretary, they do have a communications director. I remember when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was president, she did have a communications person. So I hope they still have a communications person, and this is where, their work gets done. So it's a trial and error process, time. Make mistakes, they correct the mistakes. So we just give them some time. Probably within the first 6 months, and then we can begin and say, look, this is not working, but we have to give them the opportunity, to make and correct these mistakes.
Yes, thanks so much. This is how we'd like to wrap up on the Fire Squad. We'll be here again on Friday with a rundown of all of the major things in Liberia.
You see the thing I did right now, I can't even tell them you
Hi, I'm Fatumata Nabi Fufana, a mom, a journalist, and author. I was born in PTB's Wedro, Ranjita County, Liberia. I went to school in Ghana, Cape Coast, to be specific. I earned a master's in management from the University of Maryland Global Campus. Here is a paperback version of Solas. The book is available in both paperback and hardcover editions. It is inspired by my mom's passing. I lost my mother on June 10, 2019. The book is actually dedicated to her memory. This story delicately untangles the emotional threads of losing a mother and the extremely disturbing journey of healing and self-discovery that follows. It is an inspiration to others, a reminder that life never stops, that even in the darkest of time, there is still light to be found. My new book, Solace, published on April 2nd, 2024, illustrates the power of resilience in the face of adversity and the strength of the human spirit. So the story actually traces the life of a young woman, Manatu, who grew up in a devout Islamic household where her life was practically mapped out for her. But then again, ambitions and dreams beckoned Manatu beyond traditions. This went on until an unexpected tragedy tears her life apart. That's when the story plunges into Manatu's journey to find healing, redefine her identity, and reevaluate her relationship with life itself. To my fellow female journalists, I say, don't be afraid. Raise your hand for every assignment that comes your way. Just be ready to work harder than you ever imagined.
You can't wait to accept defeat. Such a person, you gotta be careful with him. You gotta be careful with such a person who is not willing to accept defeat. As a matter of fact, the president of the Republic of Europe, George Weah, for a president to accept 20,000 votes and say, I leave it means that I made me well. If I was cheaper by this time, we can't even run in Liberia.
My name is Jackson George. I'm here from Liba. Thomas, Pro One Tax Services, been around for many years, right? Tell us a little about your business.
Well, thank you, Mr. George. I always appreciate Liba being around. You've been a pretty big help to our local businesses, so thank you for coming, visiting our offices here. So, Pro One Tax Service was actually called Dominion Group Taxes, and we've been around for about 20 years now. We've been around the place. We've been providing tax services to a lot of people, especially in the diaspora community. So we've been in this building, and we've been providing all these great services, and taxes and real estate and a lot. But this year we just decided to do it totally differently than what we've done in the past. Even though we've been giving out a lot of gifts, appreciating our clients, this year is just going to be different.
So this is like customer appreciation.
This is genuinely a customer appreciation, right?
Okay.
Right. So this year, what we are doing is, in addition to the professional services that we provide, right, in a very professional environment, we are giving out all of these gifts, over 200 gift items we have for people.
So tell us how it works.
So this is what happens. First of all, I call this gift icing on the cake. So we give you a great service, and then you automatically benefit or qualify to get a free bags of rice, 25-pound bags of rice.
Okay.
It's not here right now, but the picture is right there. Okay. So you automatically get that just for doing your taxes with us, right? In addition to that, you enter our raffle draw, and if you are lucky, you could be the winner of one of these big prizes we have here. We have the 75-inch television. We have multiple 65-inch televisions. We have 55 in televisions. We have that refrigerator that's sitting out there, that mini refrigerator. We have vacuum cleaners. We got cooler jugs. We got air fryers. We got all sort of things around
So
here. Matter of fact, we even got these
So how is
chairs.
it gonna work? You're gonna wait for the end of the year to do that, the end of tax season, or you're just gonna people gonna?
Actually, we don't want to wait.
Okay.
We want to have all these coupons or these tickets pre-marked with the prices on them, and then we're gonna put them in that little swing thing here. So when you do your taxes, you come here, you swing it, and pick a ticket from
Automatically.
there. So we are doing it simultaneously with the preparation of the taxes.
Okay.
We are not waiting for the end of the tax season and have a big program and just do a raffle draw. We want people to feel it, right?
Okay.
We want people to be in there and like, hey, you know what? I got my box right, but I also wanted 55 in television and all that stuff like that. So that's the process.
So what is your message to the community?
We want to tell the community that we've been around, we've been providing all of these professional services. We want them to trust us, continue to trust us. You know, we ask for their business. We value them to be very important. We value them to be people who we can work with, we can help. You know, we are available, so we asking them to come and give us a try. If you have not worked with Pro One Tax Service before, give us a try. Trust me, you're not going to regret. Oh, one more thing. People might ask me, what's the catch? Why are you giving all these big things? And because we want to be appreciated. That's what we are doing, and we are not hiking our prices just because we are buying these things.
Okay.
We consider this to be part of our business operation, and now there's a catch.
Okay.
We are realtors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, that was my next question, though.
We run a real estate business.
Apart from taxes, I know I bought my home.
Yeah.
You guys helped me to buy my home.
Yeah.
So tell us, I mean, I know you said there's a catch. What's the catch?
So that's the catch, right? We are not charging anything more for our tax services. But we think that if you can trust us to do your taxes and we deliver a really great service to you, it's easier for you to trust us to do more business with us. So we want to take advantage of that time to reach out to people and let them know about real estate investment. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, or whether you already own a home you want to sell, you're trying to transition, or whether you are going into just real estate investment, rentals, and a whole lot.
Hello everybody, my name is Terry Bono, of course your boy Terry G right here again today, and it's a beautiful sunny day in Minnesota. For some reason we're having a great winter. The weather is so super today, and I'm in the city of Crystal at the Grateful Family African Market, and this establishment is owned by my own friend and brother Cyrus McGee. We go way back as media colleagues, the buddy and you know the rest. But I'm here to support this establishment. You know, it's a small business, but it's growing and it's going to grow. And if you live in the city of Crystal, you're down Blaslick Road, you in Brooklyn Center, you in New Hope, you in Maple Grove. This is a one-stop shop for you for African deli, goose, and merchandise and cooking materials. You can just walk in here and Cyrus will be here to serve you. You can get all your African stuff to cook your potato green. Because I will leave. I love pan butter, so I'm gonna get some pan butter stuff. So yeah, let's support our own, man. Let's promote our own. We can do it better for each other than ourselves. So let's do it. It's Cyrus Maggie here and the Grateful African Store. Grateful Family African Store.